Today on Hearts of Heroes, a fire erupts at a Michigan golf course, putting first responders' lives at risk.
You can feel the heat through your gears. You can feel that it's roaring.
Then, one fire department comes to the rescue of another.
Sure seems like we're home.
This is absolutely amazing what's happening here today.
And later, a pickup truck plunges into an icy canal with 2 people trapped inside.
Oh my! And I heard the splash, and then I started freaking out. What do we do? What do we do?
As the truck sinks, it is life or death in an instant. So the first responders have to act quickly.
We weren't looking at, having minutes to spare. We were working with seconds at that point.
With no time to think, these heroes acted on their incredible instincts and saved lives because of it. Many people take up golf as a way to relax, spend time with friends, and enjoy the outdoors.
But when a building on a golf course in Michigan caught on fire, well, it wasn't the peaceful day it should have been, but rather a potential disaster.
Just outside of Detroit, Michigan, sits the community of Romulus.
It's a great city to live in. So you have a little bit of country and a city, on all parts of our city.
Although the city only covers about 36 square miles, it is home also to Michigan's largest airport.
There's a lot of people coming in and out of the town from out of state, out of country, so you get a diversity of people.
But the airport isn't the only important hub in the city. The Gateway Golf Course is also a centerpiece.
That golf course supports the community in a number of different ways because they're always hosted fundraiser events and tournaments and everything else that support the community. It became really kind of a center point hub for us to gather and see each other.
On the morning of October 21st, 2021, a fire threatened to destroy this important community gathering place.
As the morning started, I was in early as usual, preparing for the day, and I heard a couple of loud bangs. I would say almost like a large pipe hitting a metal building.
The sound was coming from the maintenance room, which is attached to the clubhouse. Owner Dennis Ross went over to investigate.
I went into the shop area, and upon entering the shop, I could see smoke beginning to come through the very top edge of the wall. When I opened the door, it was extremely violent, the fire, beyond what I expected.
The shed that housed about 85 golf carts was fully engulfed in flames. Dennis immediately called 911.
When they arrived on seeing those first 2 engines, they realized it was the entire structure that was on fire.
It wasn't just about the cart shed. Yes, that was in jeopardy, but so was the entire clubhouse.
You could see the glow of the fire. You could see the shape of the smoke coming out of the roof.
The confined space posed significant challenges.
The biggest thing for us is if you can imagine 85 golf carts parked bumper to bumper, 3 or 4 rows deep, and trying to get to the middle of them to put the fire out.
There's a lot of heavy smoke, so you can't really see, and you don't know what's in the warehouse. They told us that there were golf carts, but other than that, you don't know if there were any oils or any cleaners that could have been burned or anything of that kind of sorts.
It was very difficult for them to climb over those golf carts that were partially burned or partially melted to get to the seat of the fire and get it out.
It was very hot in there. It was very hot. As soon as we breached that garage door, so it's cooking.
We did notice a slight sag in the roof, so my main thing was to not let guys enter too far into the area that was on fire.
As firefighters attacked the blaze, they soon realized that they had another life-threatening danger on their hands. The shed was attached to a maintenance room, and that stored diesel fuel, chemicals, and other highly flammable substances.
They knew where it was located and the hazards that were there.
Coming up, firefighters have only minutes before the entire clubhouse goes up in flames.
Inside of that shed, you could see all the golf carts that were just on fire.
But first, this safety tip.
First responders regularly put their lives on the line to keep us safe.
Our ultimate goal is to keep everyone safe. It's an honor to serve the communities where we live, work, and play.
A note of appreciation, a quick thank you, and a little gratitude goes a long way for all the work our heroes do.
In October of 2021, a fire erupted at a golf course in Romulus, Michigan. The focal point of the fire was a room that stored 85 golf carts. Firefighters valiantly battled the smoke and flames.
Inside of that shed, you could see all the golf carts that were just on fire, and it had high ceilings, so usually heat rises. So if you know that you're feeling the heat down at the bottom, you know that it's pretty hot in there.
To make matters worse, the shed was right next to a room that stored combustible liquids like diesel and chemicals.
We contained the fire because we did not let it jump into the maintenance room that had all the flammables in it. The fertilizer room was safe, so we didn't have to evacuate the area of residents. We didn't have to call a hazmat team.
So stopping that group of equipment from burning was key to saving the rest of the building.
Dennis knows that the quick actions of the fire department were key to saving the building.
The Romulus Fire Department, I don't think they could have done a better job. They were able to save 2/3 of the building, and there was approximately $1.5 million worth of equipment in the shop that would have been destroyed.
Still, the fire had caused significant damage, and it would have to be addressed before Gateway Golf Course could reopen.
We lost the north third of the building, which was the cart storage area, is coming down.
That's when our sponsor, Belfour Property Restoration, stepped in to help.
The first time I walked in this building, just a lot of smoke, soot damage, smell was heavy, strong with smoke. As I walked further into the building, you could start seeing more structural damage.
They were on site. The next day we had electrical teams, we had mechanical teams, and so it started a very intense process of turning this around.
What we'll be doing is once we clear out all the contents in here, we'll start removing all the steel in here, the roof decking, bar joists, beams, purlins, and getting it ready for the rebuild.
It's a huge undertaking, but they plan on having Gateway in working order in the next few months.
We want to try to get the clubhouse up and running this beginning of spring when the golf season starts, and then work on the other areas later in that year.
Getting the golf course back open first thing in the spring is important so that the people, the leagues that play, the people that play out here have that opportunity to spend time with each other. It's an important time socially.
But this is not the only time that Belfour and the Romulus Fire Department have worked together. 7 years ago, Belfour started a program called From Our Firehouse to Yours, where larger fire departments donate equipment to smaller, less funded departments.
Some fire departments, they have equipment they're going to dispose of, and instead of disposing of it, why not give it to other departments that don't have some of this equipment?
Today, a caravan of trucks, trailers, and fire engines will be taking a load of life-saving equipment to the Escanaba Township firefighters. It's a remote fire department in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
This means a lot to us up here. Our budgets don't cover what we need, and this donation is amazing. So it's definitely going to benefit a lot of us up here.
Denny Hughes, creator of the program, is a former firefighter and a member of the Belfour team.
This is just a portion of the fire gear and equipment that we've collected throughout the year that's actually going to end up going up to the Escanaba Township Fire Department. Behind us is an enclosed trailer. We have 3 more pickup trucks that are going and 2 more trailers on top of that.
Once all the equipment was loaded up, Denny and Sheldon Yellen led the parade to Escanaba.
What we're doing is delivering approximately $1 million worth of used fire equipment.
I've never met the chief.
You have not met him?
No, we probably talked on the phone 100 times.
I got a feeling in about 10 minutes.
He's gonna be my brother for life.
I
can tell you that.
I would bet on that.
Well, there's a flagpole. I'm not sure if that's where we're headed, but I'm thinking it is.
Sure seems like we're home. If we stop for just one moment and think about the commitment that these men and women have made to run in while everybody else is running out. It's an incredible commitment because they don't even know who they're going into or for. Thank you, all of you, for your service, for your commitment to our communities. Bless you all from our hearts. Let's keep paying it forward. Yeah. Denny, thank you.
Well, I think now is the moment of truth, and we're going to open it nice and slow.
Because of this generous donation, the Escanaba Township Fire Department will have the equipment to save lives as well as protect their own.
I think everybody should pitch in whatever they can to help out. So this is absolutely amazing what's happening here today.
Coming up, 2 people are trapped in a sinking truck after they accidentally plunge into an icy canal.
the water started filling up pretty fastly from the ankles all the way up until the top of the truck.
Can rescuers get them out in time?
No matter how prepared we think we are, Mother Nature's in charge. I know, I respect her. But two friends from Stamford, Connecticut learned that lesson the hard way when their 4x4 veered off a snowy road and into an icy river.
First responders were quickly on scene, but it would take a coordinated effort by divers, EMTs, and engine operators to pull them from these near-freezing waters.
Stamford, Connecticut is located on the eastern seaboard, about 35 miles north of New York City. With a population of about 130,000, it offers a mixture of big city amenities with plenty of outdoor activities.
A lot of things to do outdoors, even though you're living downtown. Within a couple miles, there's numerous outdoors things to do.
Ashley Lionetti also grew up in Stamford.
I was raised in a very motorsports-oriented family. Dirt bikes, quads, jet skis. I was literally snowmobiling in the womb.
But these outdoors can present some dangers as well. In the fall and winter, New England experiences what are known as nor'easters. This is a storm that most often forms along the East Coast, and it's got warm air over the Atlantic Ocean that clashes with Arctic cold air from the north and west. So this nor'easter gets its name from the northeasterly winds that blow in from the northeast ahead of the storm.
It's a wicked winter storm associated with high snowfall rates, significant wind as well, and often very, very high tide.
In February of 2021, Stamford was hit with one of these treacherous nor'easters. Driving was not advised, but Ashley had a specially modified truck which was designed to handle this kind of weather. Feeling confident, she called her friend Dustin to snap some pictures for her social media at Cummings Beach, which is a popular destination located right near the coast.
It's a nice park. The problem is, during the storm, there was no way of clearly indicating where the road was. So even though I kind of knew the park a little, I still myself, it was very hard to tell where exactly the roads were.
After taking some shots down by the marina, the two began making their way out of the park. But with almost whiteout conditions, they got disoriented.
We get lost, we get a little confused. We don't know where the roads are.
We headed down straight, and we literally just drove straight in over the seawall. Oh my!
Back up.
I can't!
No, back up.
Ashley and Dustin thought that they had hit a small pool of water, but in reality, they had plummeted into a 12-foot deep canal.
I heard the splash. And then I started freaking out. I was like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
The water then started filling in. It started right around our ankles and then kind of delayed for a minute. And then after, I'd say 30 seconds, the water started filling up pretty fastly from the ankles all the way up until the top of the truck.
Dustin and Ashley tried to escape, but to their dread, they discovered the anti-theft device had locked up all the doors and windows.
The first thing I'm thinking is, how do we get out of here? You know, Ashley's saying out loud, how do we get out? How do we get out? She had mentioned she had a manual back window. We turned around to the back, saw the manual window, went back, got it open. We said, hey, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here.
But it wouldn't be that simple. Ashley had managed to squeeze her petite frame through the 8x12-inch window, while Dustin had a sinking realization.
And then after she got through, the water at that point was maybe chest high. And I took one look at that window and I realized there's no way I'm getting through that.
Coming up, in order to save Ashley and Dustin, firefighters would have to attempt a rescue unlike any they had ever done before.
And then from there was some really crucial decisions done in a split second.
But first, another safety tip.
Winter weather can pose an incredible number of risks, so try not to get yourself caught off guard.
We recommend keeping a bundle of cold weather gear in your vehicle just to be safe, such as extra food, water, warm clothing, a flashlight, and an ice scraper.
And try to keep your car fueled up or charged in the mere chance your plans go sideways and you find yourself stuck.
In February 2021, Ashley Lionetti and Dustin Schrader were taking a drive in Ashley's pickup truck. Suddenly, they plunged into a swift-moving, icy canal. Ashley managed to escape through the back window, but Dustin was still trapped inside.
Fire dispatch, engine 5, rescue 1, respond in addition, Cummings Park Marina for a vehicle into the water.
Luckily, somebody had seen the accident and they called for help. Firefighter Frank Dasima was the first one on the scene.
I just wanted to get that initial report out to the chief and to those crews so they'd have a little bit more of a plan before they got there.
These first responders know that every second counts in an emergency, so they are trained to work in unison to make sure everyone has all the information they need to pull off a rescue.
After assessing the situation, Frank began plowing a path for the rescue engines so that they could get through. Moments later, Captain David Harriott and Deputy Chief Matt Palmer arrived.
And then from there was some really crucial decisions from that, done in a split second.
That cold water is just filling the cab of that truck very, very quickly. We weren't looking at, having minutes to spare. We were working with seconds at that point. I was able to get 3 firefighters with cold water suits into the water within seconds after my arrival.
So we ran in about 10 feet, and then we had to swim the rest of the way, which is probably another 30, 40 feet.
We went up to him, made contact. She let us know that her friend was stuck in there. Then we ended up noticing him in there. He couldn't get out.
And I was just yelling to him, you got to do something to break this window. At that point, I already knew there was no way I was getting out without some type of tool to get one of the windows broke.
While rescue swimmers Rosero and Calandro tried to figure out how to pull Dustin from the sinking truck, firefighters on shore were facing another challenge. How were they going to get Dustin and Ashley from the freezing river to the shore?
I started to think, how could we use the tower ladder? And I had when the mechanical supervisor arrived on scene, that was like the first thing I asked him was, do you think we can use Truck 1's boom to do this rescue?
The Stamford Fire Department had never attempted this kind of rescue before, but they had no choice. Ashley's pickup was rapidly filling with water, and Dustin was still trapped inside.
These brave first responders are required to make critical decisions to save people's lives. And often, they are faced with rescue situations they have not even attempted before.
With no time to lose, they moved the rescue truck to the water's edge and extended the basket over the canal. Once the tower was close enough, they pulled Ashley from her truck into the basket.
I don't want to attack her, go ahead.
And then after we got her off of the bed into the bucket, that's when the truck started sinking.
Ashley's truck was about to go under with Dustin inside. They had to find a way to break out that back window.
When the truck came over with the basket, one of the firefighters handed me a Halligan tool. So I started swinging the tool a few times. When I finally got it through, it wasn't like the window just shattered. I just felt the tool kind of go through. And then at that point, the truck started sinking faster.
The pickup was now completely underwater, taking Dustin down with it.
Firefighter did get over to me right before it went under, so I was able to grab a hold of one of his hands, just kind of him to help hold me there.
I was keeping contact. The other 2 firemen were still trying to do what they can by smashing windows with tools.
Last thing I remember is taking the last breath, holding his hand, and then, just holding on to the air as long as I could without trying to move around to exert oxygen.
Everyone watched in horror as Dustin stayed underwater for almost 45 seconds.
One guy held on to Dustin the entire time, held on to his hand, and I'm just watching in shock.
And for any of us who have a substantial amount of time on the job, I just thought I watched somebody lose their life.
Miraculously, the window gave way at the last second, and Dustin was pulled to the surface.
Next thing I know, I'm above water, and I'm just gasping for air, and I started breathing again.
First responders were just as stunned as Dustin.
I was like, oh man, I can't believe that just happened. I couldn't believe it. Like the victim's reaction, his eyes were open, but he couldn't believe that he came out either.
Dustin and Ashley were rushed to the hospital and treated for hypothermia. Today, they are fully recovered and hold immense gratitude for all the first responders who came to the rescue that day.
Every single person that day is a hero in my book. Everyone went above and beyond.
It's one of those jobs where you don't get praised every day. You're saving people for whatever reason it may be, and you just go about and do it every single day.
Whether it's fires, floods, or blizzards, disasters really do show up in so many different forms.
Thankfully, we have many different types of heroes who also show up when we need them the most. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on another episode of Hearts of Heroes.